In this video, I take a walk across the Millennium Bridge in London for a 15-minute photo challenge.
Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching Adorama TV, brought to you by Adorama, the camera store that has everything for us photographers. And today you join me at the Millennium Bridge in London for a 15-minute photo challenge. So I'm going to walk along the bridge, walking back towards St Paul's Cathedral, see what amazing pictures we can find. The weather today is quite changeable. We've got overcast, cloudy skies, sunshine one minute, light rain the next. So this could be quite interesting. But, well, best pictures are over there, so let's get going. Sometimes the best pictures of bridges are underneath the bridge, and I think this is actually a great place to begin. This is really nice. I like the symmetry of this shot. I'm using my Olympus EM5 Mark II and a 12 to 40mm lens, a good sort of walk around lens, but I can actually see people through the grating above me. So I'm actually going to try shooting in upright or portrait format and get some different perspectives. I'm shooting in aperture priority mode. I'm on f8 just for a middle of the road kind of aperture. That should give me plenty of depth of field at a wide angle shot. Of course, there's nobody walking over the bridge when you want them to. Here we go. Isn't it? Sometimes the best pictures are right behind you, like now. You probably could see the picture that I couldn't see walking up. This is great. So let's just try and get a shot here. I might need to wait for the crowds to clear, but I need to get a lovely symmetry. Come on, everybody out the way. There you go. Got one. Okay, let's keep going. This is kind of fun. There's a lovely glass here, and glass normally means reflections. So, well, let's go a bit closer because I might be able to get a nice reflection of St Paul's. So here's how it's working. If I want to get a reflection and I shoot it from here, I get a reflection. But watch what happens when I lean right against the glass. Getting right up against the glass, I get a completely different reflection. I actually like that. I like the fact that I'm seeing more of a reflection the closer to the glass I get, but if I come out slightly, I get a subtle but most noticeably different shot. Trying a different angle as well really helps, but what I'm seeing through the viewfinder is a massive amount of moire pattern. Now if that comes through in the final pictures, and it might because the EM5 Mark II doesn't have a low pass filter, I know a Photoshop trick to fix it, and you can find that on the Adorama Learning Centre. Oh, here we go, look. Seems every bridge has some of these on now. They've got some little little padlocks. Romantic. Oh, romance. I like this one. It's pink and it's heart-shaped, which is kind of fun. Depth of field. Well, I'm in aperture priority mode, so I can adjust my depth of field really quickly. Let's try f2.8. Go for a nice shallow depth of field. And let's try the other end of the scale. Let's go f16, f22. Try a maximum depth of field. And that does drop my shutter speed significantly, which means I need to adjust my ISO significantly. Try and keep a shot because this bridge wobbles ever so slightly, but it wobbles nonetheless. And that's kind of fun. It's a really moody sky over London. So a nice little shot of the London skyline I've got the Shard, I've got Tower Bridge, over the side I've got Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, so that's a really nice little sort of cameo of London just there. That's lovely. 15 minutes walking across Millennium Bridge, perfect amount of time, just enough photo opportunities to keep the photographer happy, I reckon. And compared to the last bridge I walked across on Adorama TV, which was, well, in New York, this one's much smaller, and that's a good thing, I like that. So let's get one of these pictures into Photoshop and we'll do a quick bit of editing, and I'm going to do that right now.
Sometimes the weather can be a massive help to your photography, and other times it can be a massive hindrance. In this case, it was actually both a help and a hindrance, because I got some really great looking skies, but those cloudy skies meant that the ground was lit with flat, really boring lighting. So I've got to do some post-processing to get the most out of the sky, but also to add some contrast and lighting on the ground. And I found that almost all the images from this challenge had a similar problem and a similar solution. So let's get a raw file, jump into Photoshop, see what I did. So this one kind of sums everything up really. I like this shot, like the symmetry, and there are great clouds in here, but you might not spot them straight away. This is a nice looking sky, and to get more detail out that sky, I need to come down to the highlight slider here in Camera Raw and reduce that down. Now, of course, I could do this in Lightroom. In Lightroom, it would be basically the same steps as well. And whilst I'm here, I think maybe a bit more contrast in the scene. So for mid-tone contrast, I'll use the clarity slider. And just for a bit of general contrast, I'll pop up the contrast slider. Now that does darken down these areas here a little bit, so let me just increase this shadow detail just a tiny bit too. Okay, so far so good, but there must be a better sky in here, and there is. I can still see there's more sky to come out of this, and to get it I'm going to use the local adjustments. So that is the brush, the graduated filter and the radial filter. Let's do the graduated filter, I think. Let's grab that one. And I'm going to come down to the exposure and reduce the exposure by 1.5 stops, something like that. And let's just start by clicking in the middle and then dragging down, and that should give me a lovely dramatic sky. Now I can actually do even more with that sky by coming back to the same sliders and come down to, say, clarity. Why not? Let's put some more clarity on that sky. And one of my new favourite ones, Dehaze. Dehaze does wonders to skies. Just a little bit, don't go too mad, that's nice. Now that's okay, but of course, the way the graduated filters work is that everything from this red line upwards, in this case, is going to be affected to a lesser or greater extent, including the faces of the people that I would like to bring some detail back. So I can come over to the graduated filter and find the brush option, make sure it's set to the minus button, and I can just paint away the effects with a nice soft fuzzy brush, something like that. So that means rather than having a dead straight line, I'm now sort of painting a fuzzy wobbly line, and that tends to work rather well on a shot like this. Now I could also use the plus button just to sort of add in bits at the bottom, so I can even use the same settings and just sort of darken these areas down as well. And if you're looking at that and thinking, well, isn't that just the adjustment brush? Well, it is very similar. Like anything inside of post-processing, you get to the same end result in many different ways. Photoshop, Camera Raw and Lightroom all have multiple ways of getting more or less the same results. Which is right is entirely up to you. As long as you're happy with the picture at the end, you did it right. So let's use the adjustment brush. Let's come in here to the adjustment brush and just grab that, because I think what I'd like to do is put a bit of light down this area here. So if I come over to my exposure, I'll increase my exposure, and I'm really going to pop up the clarity as well and just sort of lighten this area here. So what we end up with is sort of darker corners and then lighter patches, as if we had some interesting lighting effects. That looks pretty good. I think I'll stop there. Now, one of the things I got to at this point and thought, well, colour. What about the colour? Let's go back to the basic panel. And for a very quick way of going black and white, I can just get the saturation, reduce the saturation down to -100, and there you go, you have black and white. And I think these images worked well with black and white, but in this one, I like the colour. In fact, I liked this sort of cyany colour coming through here, through the glass. So what I think I'll do is I'll just reduce the colours down so it has a less bright, colourful image, but then I'm going to try and target those cyans by coming up to the HSL stroke grayscale, finding the saturation and aquas. There we go, that's going to be the one that looks closest to me. And if I just move it up and down, I can see, yes, that is definitely the colour. There might be some blue in there as well, but I reckon if I really push that up, that should give me a nice colourful line through here, but mute all of the other colours down. Now, as always, there's a bit more work to do on this, a bit of fine-tuning here and there, but there you go, there's my final image completed.
Well, that was a lovely, relaxing 15-minute photo challenge, a very nice walk across a lovely bridge. So if you want to see more videos from myself and the other amazing presenters right here on Adorama TV, you know what you've got to do? Click on the subscribe button. I'm Gavin Hoey, thanks for watching.